Captain Marcus Chen had seen enough horrors in his 20 years patrolling the Outer Rim to fill a dozen lifetimes, but nothing had prepared him for what he found in the Zephyrian pleasure district of Nexus Station. The tip had come from an unlikely source, a reformed Corellian smuggler who claimed humans were being trafficked through the sector. Chen's crew aboard the Defiance had investigated dozens of such claims, most leading nowhere. This time felt different. The establishment called itself Exotic Delights, a name that made Chen's jaw clench as he pushed through the entrance with Lieutenant Sarah Torres at his side. The air hung thick with synthetic pheromones and the bass thrum of alien music. Creatures from a dozen species lounged in crystalline booths, their predatory eyes following the pair of humans as they moved deeper into the den. "Stay sharp," Chen murmured into his comm, knowing his tactical team waited outside. The Zephyrians who ran this place had diplomatic immunity, but that wouldn't stop him if he found what he suspected. A 7-foot Zephyrian with iridescent scales and 4 arms approached them, its translator crackling to life. "Welcome, mammals. You seek entertainment? We have specimens from many worlds." "We're here on official business," Torres interrupted, her hand resting on her sidearm. "Galactic Enforcement Division. We need to inspect your inventory." The Zephyrians' gill slits fluttered, their equivalent of nervous laughter. Of course. All our animals are legally acquired, properly documented." Chen's blood ran cold at the word animals. He'd heard the rumors of how some species classified sentient beings they deemed inferior, but experiencing it firsthand sent rage coursing through his veins. They were led through a maze of corridors lined with transparent cells. Chen's training kept his face neutral, but inside he was cataloging every horror. Deltaron children huddled together, a proud Centauri warrior with dead eyes, and others he couldn't immediately identify. All bore the neural dampening collars that would suppress their higher brain functions, making them compliant. Then he saw her. In the last cell sat a human woman, maybe 25 years old, with auburn hair, matted against her shoulders. Unlike the others, her collar was different, newer, more sophisticated. Her green eyes tracked their movement with an intelligence that shouldn't have been possible under neural suppression. Chen stopped. The Zephyrian guide continued its practiced spiel about prime specimens and exotic experiences, but the words faded to background noise. The woman's gaze met his, and in that moment, everything changed. Her lips moved, no sound emerging, but Chen read the words clearly. "Help me." "This one," Chen said, cutting off the guide mid-sentence. "What's her story?" The Zephyrian's scales rippled with what might have been pride. "Ah, you have excellent taste. A recent acquisition from the Terran colonies. Very rare, very expensive. The neural dampening is minimal. They prefer their human pets to retain some personality for the full experience." Chen's hand moved to his weapon before Torres caught his wrist. Her slight shake of the head reminded him they were still gathering evidence, still following protocol. But protocol felt like a leash when faced with this abomination. "We'll need to examine her," Torres said smoothly. "Standard health inspection." The Zephyrian hesitated, then activated the cell barrier. The woman rose slowly, moving with the careful grace of someone conserving strength. As she approached, Chen noticed the scars on her wrists where restraints had bitten deep, the defiant set of her shoulders despite everything. When she was close enough, she whispered 3 words that would haunt Chen forever. "Take me home." The words hit him like a physical blow. Not a plea, not begging. A simple statement of trust from someone who had no reason to trust anyone. That's when Chen noticed something else. The woman's collar was blinking with a pattern he recognized from his military intelligence training. Morse code, SOS, 27 human. Sublevel 3. Time running out. His blood turned to ice. 27. Humans. And this woman, somehow maintaining enough cognitive function to communicate, was telling him exactly where to find them. Chen activated his emergency beacon. Within seconds, Torres received the signal and moved to the cell's control panel while pretending to examine the barrier's safety features. "You know," Chen said conversationally to the Zephyrian, "there's something I should mention about humans." The guide tilted its reptilian head. "Oh? We're not animals." Chen's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "We're apex predators who've learned to hide our teeth." The tactical team breached the facility with military precision. What followed wasn't a rescue operation. It was retribution. The Zephyrians had made a fundamental error in their assessment of humanity. They'd assumed physical strength and technological advancement were the only measures of a species' danger. They'd forgotten about human loyalty, human rage, and the terrible swift sword of human justice. As the smoke cleared and the traffickers lay in neural restraints, Chen personally removed the collar from the woman who'd trusted him with those 3 simple words. Her name was Dr. Elena Vasquez, a xenobiologist who'd been captured during a research expedition 6 months ago. "How?" Chen asked as medics checked her vitals. "How did you maintain cognitive function?" Elena smiled for the first time since her capture. They based their dampening frequency on human baseline neurological patterns. They didn't account for someone with neural enhancement implants from graduate research work. I've been awake this whole time, planning, waiting. For what? For someone like you to walk through that door. She gripped his hand with surprising strength. Someone who would see a person instead of an animal. Later, as the Defiance jumped to hyperspace with 27 rescued humans aboard, Chen stood on the bridge watching the stars streak past. Elena approached, now clean and wearing a proper uniform borrowed from his crew. "Thank you," she said simply. Chen shook his head. "You saved yourself, and all the others. I just happened to be the weapon you needed." Elena smiled. "That's what humans do, isn't it? We become whatever weapon the situation requires." Looking out at the endless star field, Chen nodded. The galaxy was vast and full of predators who saw humanity as prey. They were about to learn a hard lesson about the difference between being human and being civilized. And sometimes, Chen reflected, civilization was the most dangerous weapon of all.